Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Ikhambi Natural Healing. We are live now on Facebook. I am Menzi Maseko, Menzi Maseko, and I'm with Nkosi, Majamini, Nelly, Nkosi. Please greet the people, Nkosi.
Greetings, everybody. Thokozani. My name is Nelly Nkosi, uMadlamini Ntombi yaselangeni.
Today we will be introducing Nonkululeko Shiburi, who's gracing us today with her presence. We're going to be speaking about issues of birth and spirituality. She will introduce herself very soon as we do our breathing meditation and our healer's pledge, which we will all say together because we believe that words which are sounded have power. Words are empowering, and so we like to say the pledge together as a part of a reminder of why we are here and why we do what we do. It is the work, the great work, the work of eternity, what we are doing. So the words are very important. So ngicela nje relaxe, khululeke, khulula amahlombe, shake out the bad dreams or the bad vibes that you were, whoever was chasing you in your dreams last night, shake him or her out or it, and just relax, whether you are standing or whether you are sitting or lying down. It's a very easy meditation. We just basically you follow my instruction, easy instruction, not a dictatorship. You just breathe deeply in, hold the breath in your belly and your chest, and breathe out. You breathe in deeply, letting the breath flow into all your muscles in your body, into your brain. Hold it and breathe out through your mouth, like you're whistling. Breathe in again through your nose, deep breath. Allow the great spirits that are above us and below us to be present today, the Creator to be with us today. Breathe out. We take one deep breath again for deep attention and respect. Hold your breath, relax your shoulders. Let the breath stay in. Be present, be attentive, and be ready to participate. And let that breath out. We give thanks and praises to the Father and the Mother, God, the creators of the universe, the galaxies, the omniverse, and everything that is. And we would like now to recite the Healer's Pledge, which is our way of, it's kind of like our code of ethics, so to speak, which we recite every session. So we say it together. People can unmute their masks, not their masks. The masks have already been unmuted before. So unmute your mics, microphones. The Healer's Pledge is very short. We just recite it together. It won't take a long time. It is not a prayer. It is an affirmation. So the code of conduct for the group Ikhambi, the cure. So it goes like this: Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
We owe our gifts to nature, our ancestors, and our creators.
We owe our gifts to nature, our ancestors, and our creators.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Unu, Ubuntu.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Unu, and Ubuntu.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will offer our recommendations, advice, and ideas with trust.
We will offer
We
our
will offer
recommendations,
advice, and ideas with
with
trust.
trust. Sorry, that was a break.
We will neither insult, dishonor. We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural healing.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural
healing. Healthy lifestyles and well-being.
Healthy lifestyles and well-being.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information and falsehood.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information and falsehoods.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
We will give back to nature what it has abundantly given us.
We will give back to nature what it has abundantly given to us.
Siyathokoza, siyayivula inkundla, sithi makukhanye, makwande okuhle. Let our conversation be blessed with pearls of wisdom and compassion, love and light. Nonkululeko Shiburi, greetings, and I am signing out for now.
Thank you so much, Menzi, for the breathing meditation as well as the conduct, helping us navigate through the pledge. Just to remind for those who are new to the session, my name is Nelly, Nkosi, Umadlamini, Intombi yaselangeni, Ungwane, you know. So today we continue the discussion that we started with during last session. We continue talking about birth and spirituality. Greetings to everybody that has joined on Zoom, and greetings to everybody that has joined on Facebook as well. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate you holding space with us. Greetings to our beloved guest, Nonkululeko Shiburi. She will introduce herself and just briefly introduce herself. Greetings, Gogo.
Greetings, Nmanani, Sagazani, Nkosi, Amako. My name is Nonkululeko Shiburi. I am a mother, a daughter, and I'm a doula and bereavement facilitator, perinatal bereavement facilitator. I'm also a breastfeeding peer counselor. Okay, I do a lot of things in the spaces of birth and bereavement. So, yeah,
Thank you. I know we had discussed you and I would be aware with okay, what type of work. Can you please explain the type of work that you actually do in details?
Okay, no problem. So what I do is I support women in the physiological aspects of birth, as well as emotional aspects of birth and pregnancy, as well as conception sometimes, and post-pregnancy, which is the postnatal season or the postnatal stage of birth, so after giving birth. So what we basically do is in the space of birth and pregnancy. So if you're looking for emotional support and someone to be there for you during the stages of pregnancy. So we would know, Uguti, in the old times, we never had doula. So I always say doula is an umbrella term of bringing everything together. So that means there are people who work with herbs, basically. So herbs that are just strictly herbal doulas, and they are doulas that deal with conception, fertility, and all of that. And then there are labor doulas, specifically dealing with labor. So when it's time for you to give birth, they're going to be there, stay with you throughout, and then later on maybe go home or stay a while during the first hours of birth. And then there are breastfeeding doulas who strictly work with breastfeeding, who advocates for breastfeeding and help women reach their breastfeeding goals. And then we have postpartum doulas, of which we are very short of postpartum doulas, especially here in South Africa. So postpartum doulas, they support mothers, they help them through the postpartum stage. So if you're having trouble sleeping, or your baby's having problems sleeping, and you need someone to be there at the house doing like minimal cleaning, cooking, making meals for you, and anything else that you need while you rest, as well as your partner, that's a postpartum doula job. And then in a space of movement, perinatal loss. So that means if you have had a stillborn, or you are anticipating a stillborn baby, then they would reach out to me, or you would be referred to me to support you, be with you, be with you in the space of counseling throughout until the last day. So that means we make it normal, or we put a sense of normalcy as much as possible to the spaces of loss. Even if it's a miscarriage or an anticipated abortion, we are there. So if maybe you're having a difficulty saying goodbye, or you want creative ways to say goodbye to your baby, then we assist you with that, and we hold space for you. We open up that space for you as much as you want and as much as possible. So there are many ways to take you through the healing process for as long as you need. So that's what I do.
Yo, you've said quite a lot, you know, and as you were talking, I was actually thinking, Guti, from a cultural perspective, who would be responsible for this, you know, because I'm just thinking right now, postpartum, I don't even know, it's forward, English data is depleting. Postpartum care, it would be my mother. My mother would be, in terms of my culture, my mother, my grandmother, the women in my family would be the one who would be taking care of me, and would come. If I would go home, if I'm a married woman, I'd go home, or they would come to my house, you know, and they would come and take care of me, you know, and this was to just look at, to help you take care of the baby, maybe assess also your mental state of mind, whether or not you're in the correct frame of mind to be taking care of a baby, because there's a lot of things that go with pregnancy. We also speak about postnatal depression as well. And as you were talking, I'm also thinking that during my pregnancy, my grandmother was Umamgun. She was a midwife of some sort, you know, and she used to help me like every week, or every now and then I would go with her and go and massage so that she can help with the massaging the baby, making sure that everything is going according to plan. And then you also get those women that will actually come into your home and they would help you give birth. We call those the midwives, you know. And what my grandmother used to do, I know about, I don't even know if I'm going to pronounce. If you've got a Swedish-speaking person, please do help us, Shem. Come to our aid. But Cyrilla, I think Cyrilla, you know, and help you with your pregnancy. And it almost sounds as if you guys are also stepping into that realm. It's not so different from what the olden days midwives used to do, Would you care to explain to us what would be the fundamental difference between what a modern day doula or a doula is and the difference with like midwife, you know, as we know it?
Okay, so with a doula, I'm gonna start with the doula. A doula is in isiZulu umzanyana. So remember, umzanyana is a term umuzi omncane. Okay, so kuthiwa imzanyana because taken from the term ye placenta and a uterus when you're pregnant. So the whole thing, what we call is imzanyana. This includes the placenta, your umbilical cord, your membrane, and your water. So that's where your baby grows, angisho. So we would call those people imzanyana because they support and then they would look after abantu abakhulelwe. So especially if there is not a midwife in the space. So you would know, would see in our families, we would have a midwife again, or we would have a midwife we go to, as we would see when someone is pregnant, and that person in my home, so Mangubani specifically used to serve us, Okoko, like Okoko, they gave birth naturally now, but they were midwives. So they gave birth to 10 babies each. And they would support abanye women from other village, and then they would specifically be a midwife. So it's okay. We have Masbanba, and then we go to okay, and then we have people that we send to do the extra necessary work that's needed. Maybe spiritually low muntu dingo sees or there's something ebonakalayo or that needs intervention. And abanye, they would call them ababeletis. Okay, so we had ababeletis nemizanyana. Okay, so ababeletis are the midwives. Okay, so once you're in the space of midwife, you stay far from the midwife's house.
Kancane, I just wanted to correct something before we move into ababeletis. Moji was so nice. Thank you, Nkosi Moji. Was so nice to correct my pronunciation. Tina abanga kulumi all languages. Thank you so much, Mkulu Moji. Are ke kushidula kasi pedi and then kusidila ka Setswana koko. Yeah. That's thank you so much, Mkulu Moji. You can continue, Gogo. Sorry to disturb.
No problem. So ability is you either go so we ability if Google to good now, so they're staying far from the village, you would go. So I found this when I was doing my research through being a doula. So I was assigned to speak to different villages and different women in the village, mostly about and then they will explain these things to me. Would say, how do you know? Would say, and all of that. So with having conversation with them, I learned would say, oh, okay. So Mashala there's a house that they have specifically for abantu abazobele. So they would stay in that house for 3 months. Umkhwenyana wakafike ezokulanda after 3 months seniyekhaya. So if we would see they come back from wherever, then they find then they would confirm with the midwife, and stay there, after 3 months. If it happens, Ugutu was able to reach home, by clean, by sinde. So, but as long like fresh cow dung, by clean after mtane sezelwe, wasumlilo fresh and uhlale lapho ke for 3 months. Kube ukuthi uyaphuma ke after inyanga ezintathu ubaba ke sengambona umntwana. So ama midwives, they catch babies. Bese kuthi laba imzanyana, they catch emotions, they catch the well-being of umam. Are you healthy? Are you eating? Konke lokho kumele ukudle ngendlela, and teaching you how to bath umntwana. So that's I'm not sure if it makes sense, but that's the difference between umzanyana and ababilities in the cultural space or ngendlela yesintu or yesiZulu.
Gogo, I just wanted to understand something as you were talking. Where exactly do we place, like, the closest? I know it's not quite the same. Ne? Where exactly within our traditional, what's this? Oh, you've spoken about ababilitisi, you've spoken about batuba basidilang, but then where do doulas closely resemble in terms of the services that they provide?
I mean, see, like I said, you will get doula is an umbrella term. So Tina, we never had we never had doulas. Doula we never had, because we had villages. See, so we had women who look after us in our families, whether ugogo, umkhulu, auntie, mamkhulu, mamncane, whoever. Uma ngabe you pregnant, there is a specific person nesaziyo ukuthi this person is very good with this. Uyakwazi ikhambi lokuthi uma ukuthi udinga ihlambezo, ukhona uMasibanibani, she can make it. Uyasazi ukuthi siyasebenza. Oh, uma ngabe udinga ukwelulwa, mhlawumbe umuntu ozokulula, this person is very good with this. So umama uMasibanibani, even after umntwana esezelwe, kwathiwa khona ugogo wazi ukuthatha abantwana. Ugogo uMasibanibani uyakwazi ukuthatha abantwana. So especially Lama villages, and people had to work in these corporate spaces and were busy. That's when Nazi we adopted Lendaba Yobudula. So okay, so Labantu Laba, yeah, this term, it's not our term, Tina Bantu Besing. So Tina, we adopted this. Sakalage by Faga under health, of which now futhi besebona ukuthi okay, there's an opportunity here because abantu bayasebenza and they need extra heads because our villages are sick. But if we had to go back and start building villages, there's one person specifically dealing with all of this postpartum, pregnancy, prenatal, all of konke kubo umuntu oyi-one. I think I spoke about this in a post a few days ago. You don't have to even wait to be certified. You can specialize in something that in your village another woman needs. So if another woman is struggling with fertility, we as when you're very good with fertility medication or fertility herbs, you can help them. Whereas with some specializing in fertility, and this is my speciality. Or if you're struggling or unemoya or while you're pregnant, ukhona umuntu who specializes in that. Ngiyakwazi lokho, ngingakuhlanganisela something ezokwazi ukuthi kusize umntwana wakho aphume ephilile. You understand? So yona yobudula again. That's why most of them have a holistic approach to this, or bathanda ukuthi babe no holistic approach, because we never had amadulas in our culture. Asikaze sibe nayo. Kwasifika ke leyo ukuthi ke umuntu uphila yedwa kumele umuntu aphile eyedwa, then ke adoptha le term yokuthi hey, these are the people who are serving and we need to train them to serve these families.
I understand, and based on what you're saying to me, you'll correct me if my understanding is incorrect, is that in our communities, as Abantu, we never heard the term doula, but the services that the doulas provided, there were people who were gifted in those areas, and based on what I'm gathering is that being a person who is able to provide these things, I can almost say it's also a calling of some sort, where ubizo of some, you can't just wake up nje ngokwethi isintu ngiyakuvuke kusasa decide ukuthi ngizoba umbelethisi. Not everybody can do that, or uzoqalela manje uzosidila abantu. It's like it's not something that everybody can do. It's a specialized field that has its own people and it's a calling. And then come modernization, and then we see all these people that we needed and used to rely on as starting to fade away. And then comes in modernization with the introduction of the word doula. Am I incorrect in my understanding?
You are correct. Which is why I choose to use the term umzanyana, even for my brand, because I think that's the best way to explain what I do. Umzanyana is a Zulu term, so like I explained, it includes everything, which is in the uterus.
I love that. We've got a hand up. Sorry, I didn't quite catch your last line. Gogo, what did you say?
Very first poem, yomntwana wakho, so it's say umzanyana.
Oh, nice. I love that. I love that. We've got a hand raised. Menzi.
Yebo sanibona, ngixolisa ukuphazamisa flow of conversation. As she is speaking, I'm just trying to, when she was speaking about villages having to go particular distances, to actually help women, or even to learn or to do the research. Can she explain a bit? Can Nonkululeko, can you explain any of, maybe give us some of the challenges that you faced as a doula?
In the villages or in the corporate spaces?
In general.
In general.
Mm.
In general, you would find someone who would see, okay, first when I started in the bereavement space, and then I went into being a doula because of the repeat clients. So I'm a repeat clients, they would fall pregnant again, will be a successful pregnancy, and they would want me to continue supporting them throughout this journey. And then you would find that the birth becomes a transfer. So from being a home birth, a planned home birth with everything, will be a transfer. And then when it's a transfer, you get to the hospital, and the hospitals, they would ask, would see, oh, what are you, or who are you? Why should we allow you in, and all of that? Now you have to explain, or you have to wait outside and not be with this person. This was cut. So there is a challenge, especially with the public hospitals. So, and then I went on to, with regards to a research that I did in Makaya with the women, Okoko, Omama, Makaya, I found, it was not a challenge per se, it was heartbreak, some of them, they ended up not practicing because of women being taken away to hospitals, or being advised that they need to go to hospital when they reach, or when they realize how many weeks pregnant, and then because it's not healthy, and all these negative things that are. So they would end up not practicing at all because of that, and it broke my heart. Abanye, they would be offered positions, especially not in Makaya, in the townships, they would be offered positions. You would see, you need to be a nutritionist, or this position, or my positions are in the local clinics. And when you speak to them, oh, they used to be abilities, because when I spoke to this lady, I remember young directed to ugogo wakhe, but ugogo sesebenza in the clinic. So when kuluma no gogo, no, I delivered so and so's baby, I delivered this number of babies, and this I used to deliver, but now saying sebenza lana, and this is what I do now. Okay, so why were these women taken away from these bases? Am I and put in this position? But that's another thing that I'm still trying to find out and research.
Gogo, as you're talking, I'm actually thinking to myself, there's this pattern that keeps happening, and I'm seeing it throughout in all the types of healers that we've had, like they take away our midwives, and then they put them in hospitals, and then they start a new profession of private midwives, because in all honesty, in private, like I can give birth at home, you know, in 2022, medical aids actually pay now for me to be able to give birth at home. Medical aids pay for doulas, but back in the day, it was stigmatized. Would say, no, you can't. To come and help you with your pregnancies. To the level that during my first pregnancy with my firstborn, I went to the doctor and then I had my own African people, floor X-ray, because I was like, I can't, because monga hambanga a clinic and then you come on the day of the delivery, or now there's a complication and then there's a transfer. The amount of discrimination that you're gonna get is like, it's on another level. But then if I wasn't going to give up the traditional aspect and the rituals that you need to be done when you're pregnant and trade it in for like going to the clinic. No, if needs be, let's do both and let's see what happens, that was me, that was my thinking. But then they come back and reintroduce our own traditions, and then they sell them to us as if it's some new invention. I'm seeing a problem with that. Gogo?
And make it difficult to reach, because there's a lot of things that they require to make it difficult for midwives to reach that particular profession.
I just wanted to ask, Kulumoji, can you please come and ask Gogo yourself? Mkulu, you not teach me. Mkulumoji, Moraile. Okay, I don't think he can hear us, but so basically what he wanted to know is that in the queue, if she also assists with guiding safe passage of the little ones so that were lost to get to their distant realm, like the afterlife of the little ones. To assist with those rituals as well. Do you help with that?
Can you repeat that for me, please? Do I also assist?
Assist with guiding, say, safe passage of the little one's soul that were lost to get to their destined realm. So if you lose a child during birth, do you also assist with the rituals that need to take place after in your bereavement services, or do you just leave that to the family?
Okay, with the soul, I wouldn't say that I assist. I say this because there was a family. In most cases, families, they would need someone to birth or normalize the baby, depending on the gestation. So say, for instance, it's a stillborn and they've been there for a week. They've passed on and it's been a week. So I said, and they malformed, or they deformed, or they were starting to macerate. I have to be creative the best way that I can, I be presentable to the family. Okay. So I dress them and then I put them ngendlela yokuthi abukeke njengomntwana as they were ngesikhathi besangaphakathi, and normalize lokho ukuthi they need to speak to umntwana, they speak to them ngendlela yokuthi ungomunye wabo. So when they communicate with them and when they play with them and when they hold them, bangabe ukuthi they're in the sad, or vele it's sad, kodwa kungabe ukuthi kubuhlungu and they're not even normalizing this person or sefikile manje. With the soul, bakhona abanye who do it, but not myself, because maybe angafiki lapho, but because I don't have communication, I don't have that power to communicate with the baby. So, but what I do is I normalize the body and I normalize the process. If Google, you need someone to help you with the traditional process of bearing umntwana, or with the finding indlela or finding other people, even take pictures sometimes. That's what I do.
Thank you so much, Gogo. So we've got a few comments on Facebook. Guys, don't mind me when I look fun. I'm looking at the people on Facebook. So we've got Tando Mpumlwana. She says, Ababelethisi in Xhosa traditions is holistic and do pre and postnatal, which includes emotional care. The pre-birth rituals were also done by certain gogos. Kamako, thank you for that, for the additional information, Gogo. Oras Heru says, Tokozani Bantu Abadala. Good show indeed. I would like to ask Ugogo Shiburi, what are the necessary herbs to use in letting the umbilical cord to naturally detach?
The umbilical cord to naturally detach from umama or from the baby?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because isn't it that during the birth they would clamp it both sides to stop the blood flow from doing the whole. That on its own, it's a whole different aspect. I think maybe he's talking about the stump that is left on the baby.
Oh, okay. So if Kuguti is speaking about the stump, summer herbs, we use warm water because Leondao is sensitive. As if there are herbalists who use herbs, what type of herbs they would use for Leondao, because it's very sensitive. And remember that this person Mosha, so we extra careful with what we use. So to clean it, say that's what I do. So whoever maybe.
Do you put salt in the water, or is it just plain water?
Warm water. You can add salt, not too much. Water, it has to be warm and a clean. It's either a clean cloth or a clean cotton ball, or that's never been used, a cloth that's never been used. Each and every time you try or clean it, but 7 days or 8 days, you don't have to focus on it kakulu, unless maybe it's showing signs of infection or signs of discomfort, or maybe there's blood epumayo while it's drying up.
Would it also not, would the baby not also throw up as well, besides because I know it also affects that. I know my mom, when we spoke about this, she said that my sister somehow managed to get her isponosake open, and she was like throwing up and whatnot. But then she said she was fine, but was vula isponosake. But yeah, I don't know how she managed to do that. But would that also not happen?
They would show signs of infection, but it would go away. Some, they use breast milk. They prefer using breast milk.
Okay, we've got a comment. Sorry, just give me a second. Oh, okay. So Mkulu just wanted to add and remind people in terms of the question that Ras Harry had posed. Mkulu is saying that I think Mashiburu mentioned that she enlists the knowledge of herbalists and other birthing specialists whenever necessary. Just regarding the question that Mkulu Heru had asked. Do we have questions here on the Zoom? Those who are listening in on Zoom.
Excuse me, did you those emojis.
I ask Moj's question. Unless there's another one. No, I asked the question, Moj's question. I did.
Yes, no, mine was answered. Thank you, Gok.
I'm sorry, I stepped out a bit, and so I missed it.
Okay.
Absent-minded, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Do we have another question from the people who are listening in on the Zoom? On Facebook, you can still also ask questions. I'll forward them to Ugo as well. Feel free. Oh, we don't have any questions. Menzi, do you have any questions before we proceed?
No, I don't have questions. Or I wanted to ask. I know we've dealt with this a lot, but earlier, I thought the word and it emerged from African Americans. Is it the word itself, the profession of the doula? I know she has answered a lot. It's a kind of like an umbrella term, but do we know which tradition it comes from? Is it from the Yoruba? Or is it from the Akan, Mhlambe in Ghana, or is it East African, or is it just American or Cuban, something like that? Where does it come from? I mean, the first time I heard the word doula was from, I read a book called Sacred Woman, I think Queen Afua. In Queen Afua's book, Sacred Woman or Sacred African Woman, something like that. I think that's the first time I encountered that word. And then I think from Erika Badu and things like that. So really, I've not heard any Africans speaking about it. Is it African American or is it African African?
It's a Latin word for servant or a servant, a woman that serves.
Oh, a Latin word. Well, we understand that when it comes,
African,
excuse me.
Latin word for servant or a woman or a person that serves, or the one who serves.
Okay, no, thanks for that. But we must know that sometimes, Latin America, the Latin world, is heavily influenced by Africa, 70% influenced by Africa, because a lot of people, whether in the Dominicans, the Hispanics, people of Bolivia, Venezuela, various parts, Brazil especially, they speak Latin languages, Portuguese, Italian, Spanish. A lot of them are African, but yeah, no, thanks for that anyway. Women that serves, that's important.
Thank you so much for your questions. So you've already explained the pre-birth and post-birth services that you offer. Is there, before we move on, is there anything specific that you wanted to highlight before?
No, not that I can think of. Highlighted most questions that people have in most cases.
Okay. So I've got a question. Based on what you, as you being in this field, and seeing that some people don't have doulas, we're just winging it through this whole pregnancy thing. What are you seeing as it being, guys? If you guys can hear Umanzi in the background, this is going to be the life, guys. Umanzi is like an official co-host of the show. Manzi comes in and wreaks in havoc. Manzi is like, yeah. If you guys can hear him, it's fine, guys.
No, you're asking a good question. But you're asking a good question.
Umona. Anyway, I was asking Uguti, there's a lot of problems that people actually face, difficulties that people face, what are, in terms of your observation, the people that do not have that support, what have you seen being a common thing going on right now in terms of pregnancies? And we've also, I want to hear from you first.
Okay, so I would say, the common challenge that I usually pick up with women that don't have support, or they don't have doulas, if they don't have maybe support in their families, is struggling with postpartum, with the postpartum stage. So they would need extra supports during this postpartum stage. And obviously with the high numbers of postpartum depression going up, because they think, or they would think, because they don't have anyone to be there for them or anyone to lean on to when they're trying to navigate these emotions. So with the pregnancy, I would say they rely more with whatever the hospital or the clinic or the nurse is saying or the doctor is saying, and they would move that way. But when it comes to postpartum stage, that's when it breaks. I'm alone. I need to go back to work in 3 months. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And then the frustration comes in, not only with her, with the partner as well. Abanye I've seen. That's how Tina, the most of our Black families, they start breaking. But see, then umntwana is chitho, or umntwana is this, or umntwana is that, because at that stage, umama is navigating the new normal. No baba naye is trying to learn the new normal. So they don't have anyone to assist them with navigating this new life and this new person that has come in. They need to make a plan. Maybe I need to quit this job, so I'm giving up on my dreams for the sake of umntwana, and that's where the breakage and the problems starts. Postpartum is where we need to emphasize or seeking abantu to catch them or to support
them. Just one question before we move on to Umkulumoji for his question. I just wanted to ask, in relations to the premature, there's been over the years, in the recent years, we've seen a lot of people giving birth prematurely, a rise in people giving birth prematurely, and a rise in people being pregnant longer than they should be. And also a rise in C-sections and assisted births, as well as stillbirths. Do you think that not having the correct support could be influencing what is actually happening? And if so, what do you see is like causing all of this stuff, like at the core of these problems?
Okay, first of all, I think we're gonna have to start with the cause, because the world that we're living in is fast-paced environment. They have to go to work, they have to do this, they have to make ways or better in the. So if you're pregnant and you go to work, now there is work stress related, or is stress that is related to work at that time. So remember that mama back then, they were not working, but stressful environments, or the environments are not allowing or are not accommodating, if I may put it that way. So that's number one. And then number two, everything is into that, well, our lifestyles, the lifestyle that we choose, the food that we eat, most importantly, the food that we eat, the drinks that we consume, isn't that contributes to our bodies, not as that's another thing. So you might find there's more miscarriages due to stress. Or when you follow up, you would find actually she was stressed at this time, or she was stressed because of this, and this is why this happened. And then with stillborn and, well, in the being pregnant over maybe 10 months, that's actually normal. We used to get that before. kuphela ukuthi ogogo babengenelela and they would do things, they would do rituals ngendlela ngokwazi kwabo. That's another reason why kubalulekile ukuba nogogo ekhaya. And then yeah, angazi noma ngiphendule kahle yini.
I didn't quite hear the last part. I'm not sure whether it was your microphone or it was a problem at my end.
About being pregnant for over 9 months.
Yes.
Okay, so we used to also have that nakdala. It's not a new thing, but the only difference is ogogo basekhaya or abantu abadala babengenelela if kuwukuthi sekushaye isikhathi or sekudlula isikhathi umuntu is not giving birth. That they will into ngendlela eyenzakala ekhaya according to that family. It's like ekhaya senza kanje, when this happens, this is what we do. Or when this happens like ekhaya, this is where we send you to.
Okay.
We had indlela, we had ways to deal with it. Manje again, we on our own.
Sorry, we've got a troll. Wow, guys.
Excuse me, you can remove the question.
Sorry, I was dealing with a troll. That is
Remove.
it's been removed. I apologize, guys, everybody, but wow, these Zoom things, random people just come in and they just wada. Hi, guys. I think I'm gonna have to only admit people who are on the mailing list now. If you want to be on the mailing list, please do inbox us so that we will inform you when we have a session. It will come to your mailbox and you will know. Sorry, can we please go to Moji's question? Wow. Oh, I'm still traumatized. Can we please go to Moji?
Thokozani Nkosi, sawubona gogo, and thank you for blessing us with your presence here. I want to know a little bit regarding your gift. Ne? Does it trace upstream ekhaya? Are there all Koko Bako that did this, or this just landed on you?
Okay. Like I said earlier, Okoko Bami, one of them Musapila, they used to give me. And then my great grandmother Umamukwena used to be a well-known midwife in our village, Naresoskat. So when I went into finding myself, so what I'm doing is not enough, or where I am, I just think this is not me. That says, hey, I don't think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So let me start questions to go to Ubani, why Ubani, or what happens. And so when I connected the dots and I started connecting to myself, and then I felt drawn to bereavement or isn't ganji, like loss and all of that. And I was doing it, but not being aware with I'm doing it. So you would find the person and say, hey, I think I'm in labor. And so I would ask, how far are your contractions and all of that? And okay, yes, you can still go or you can stay a bit. Or when I hear that they're making a sound, a certain sound, then I would know it's okay, it's time for baby now. Okay, and being my age, I went to my say, oh, now ngenaphi endabeni zabantu abazalayo sinto abantu abancane into yogogo leyo gogo nje used to do that. And so and then I went to omunye umama owaka asePharameni kaShem, and I spoke to her, and then she said, no, khona vele unayo imoya, but okay, ever since wazala, you've never had whether sangoma itwasa what nyanga, whatever, yeah, in makhona, but isphiwo naso, and eventually you will find it. Speaking to her nje face to face. And semasifika ke isphiwo at landing in my hands, and ngabona ukuthi no, actually should see yiso lesi spirit that I've been waiting for. And then I started feeling complete after saying I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
And there was no formal training that you had to go through. It just was in your hands, this thing.
Traditionally, no, I've never went to formal training.
Wow.
They would look at your hands, Betsy. Oh, you have midwife hands. I still don't want to get it. I don't know how midwife hands look, and but if I think Nami Masengu Koko, Gingawe midwife, because Betsy, hey, was all Koko les. I think that's another challenge that I have. See, my age, when I speak these things, when I help people with these things, I why are you even doing this? So, what I give with time,
No, ngiyabonga gogo for impendulo. I just want to ask you, ukuthi, but at the you know, maybe later when you're closing, just share your thought, ne, on lendaba yoku. Yeah, well, I'm a C-sections. Mean I'm like I'm an old soul. Yeah, I don't believe ukuthi a person's birthday must be decided in some doctor's room, and you know we say, yeah, nah, come and get December. Let's pull this person out. Yeah, because I believe ukuthi a day on which sizovela la emhlabeni is recorded somewhere in some realm somewhere. You know, I think it's that special.
Yeah.
I just want to get your thought on that at the end, because I want to discourage it, and I want people like you to start discouraging it as well, you know. But yeah, at the end when you Maseko Valelisa again.
Gogo, before you answer the midwife question, because we did have a lengthy discussion about that one before we went live, the whole C-section thing. I just wanted to know, in terms of the work that you do, are there people who actually provide training, like in terms of, or do you have to? Because I know, for instance, if you're a herbalist, you will find that sometimes for a while you will shadow another herbalist, or certain herbs will come to you in a dream and don't you know. In your field, how would that look like? Because we all, even though there might not be maybe a physical or one teacher, but there is some form of initiation process that actually happens for the skill to pass on, or for the awakening to take place. So I'm trying to understand, how would that work in your field?
You would find that there is, but they're not back. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you, especially here in South Africa. By visa, they call it holistic or birth keepers and all of those words, but when they do. And then, well, there's a lady that I've been in conversation with, Ghana. It happens in other countries, in other parts of Africa, but here in South Africa, as in Gize, I've never met a Black person who says they specialize or they train or they initiate these type of people.
It would be interesting, hey? This would be very, very interesting.
I would even pack my bags and go and live with them, I swear.
Yeah. Just to speak on the question, Yagamochi, you know, it's a very interesting question because there's various aspects that actually have contributed to the increase in terms of the increase in C-sections. In C-sections, some of them it's understandable why they would go through the C-section route, and there's a valid medical reason. Ne? And then in other instances, I honestly believe that some doctors, this is my view, ne? Don't take it, it's fine. But I believe that some doctors don't try hard enough, you know, and also the fact that we've moved away from what we used to do traditionally. Because if you remember, like previously, Ugogo said, if the pregnancy is taking longer than it should, then our grandmothers used to have rituals that they would perform to intervene in that instance, and they would assist you in order for you to have a natural delivery, you know, and you would get assisted and you would deliver vaginally, you know. And then in some instances, I mean, honestly, I just think people, it's easier because for it's less hours in the hospital that the doctor, your doctor has to be there, and like kuningi, it's a combination of factors, but at the root of it all, I think we can also blame money, you know. But ngezwa no gogo ukuthi yena what are her thoughts in relation to the increase of C-sections?
Yes, you
Choose
would
your
be
doctors
surprised.
wisely. Choose your doctors wisely.
The number of C-sections in public hospital is less than private hospital. That's because C-section pays more, pays well. So doctors in private hospitals, they would always push you to choose a C-section, or to tell you, would say, oh, your baby is too big, or you're too short, or your BMI, or you have blood pressure. So definitely I'm booking you in. Abanye, they would have petty reasons. Would say, I'm going on a holiday, so I'm gonna book you in because you're 39 weeks. I'm going away with my family. 39 weeks, you need to come in, and we'll cut you. Other reasons would be njengoba kade esho umkhulu that was asking this question, would say, oh, I want my child's date of birth to be on Christmas or to be on this day. I've had a sister that I was working with or that I was supporting who chose, would say, no, I want my baby to be born the same day as my birthday. So we need to share a birthday. So I'm 39 weeks. I can afford a C-section. So I'm going in, I have medical aid. Why not? So some other parents, they choose C-section, some they don't. Some are pushed to choose C-section because of the reasons that are being told to them. But see, you are too short, or baby is too small, baby is too big, or you have blood pressure, you have diabetes, and all of those other reasons. And in public hospitals, they would give you space. Now, yes, the environment is not allowing to style or labor ward and wait while you're in labor. But they would just leave you there and check you. They need to check you until you give birth naturally. If it's pushing, then they take you to theater. But C-sections are money-making scheme. So that's why when your doctor says, would say, oh, you're too short or baby is too big, you need to do a research, you need to speak to someone, you need to find another doctor and speak to that doctor. Weigh your options, make an informed choice, always make an informed choice. Weigh your options, speak to people. Just because they're professionals, so I need to take whatever they say.
That's why I said choose your doctors very, very wisely, because you'll be, it's very sad like the whole 9 months or however period, and then right at the end they end up disappointing you by not trying everything in their power to actually make sure that you deliver naturally. And it's just, they just want to get this over and done with. And yeah.
Remember that the medication that is used for induction also plays a role with slowing down the baby's heart rate. So they would say, oh, we're going to induce you tonight. And then they check you later on, and then they say, oh, baby's heart rate is dropping, so we need to put you in, or we need to take you to theater. Now, Kwana, that's because of this induction. we don't induce your body. How do you induce your body to react into something that it should be doing naturally? So your body is working against the baby. So your body is supposed to work together with the baby through this transition. So if medication and intervention, yenzeka, it doesn't work. Most cases, induction ends up in C-section.
Mkhulu Menzi, I see your hand.
Nami, I wanted to speak a bit to the spiritual aspect of this subject matter. Regarding, it's just that what you are discussing now is kind of made me change my mind about the kind of question I wanted to ask. But then let me put it this way. Ukuzalwa komntwana, the environment, how much effect does the environment the child is born in? What is the effect that the environment has on the well-being of a child, and how long do we think that that effect can last, so to speak? I hope I'm making myself clear.
Ukuzalwa ekhaya or ukuzalwa the birthing process or the family.
Uyabuza umbuzo wakho uthini?
Yes, ngiyabuza ukuthi indawo, the environment la umntwana ezalelwe khona.
Cha sengibuzela, yeah, any environment, like for example, any, the backdrop of my question is basically ukuthi, I think I said this also in our last conversation. I was in a conference in the UK, and in this conference, one of the last speakers, I mean, it was all the conference was about law and COVID and the monetization of the medical profession. So we of many different sorts. But the last doctor, who I felt like it had, like but she seemed like an outlier out of all the doctors there. But her presentation, 15-minute presentation, got a standing ovation. And she runs a, what you call pediatric, she has a pediatrician's clinic. It's a clinic. But they try their best to make births as natural as possible, even though they are a clinic. So the lighting is different, the environment, families can attend, fathers, if they need to be, mothers, grandmothers can be there. So she has created a setup. In her words, she said that she's going back to a time, and this is a European person, she said we are going back to a time when birth was less commercial and more natural. So that's why I said my question is more on a spiritual level. On an emotional, spiritual, psychological level, how much does a hospital birth compared to a home birth, maybe it depends on the quality of the home, like the environment in itself, how does it affect the well-being, the balance of a child?
Environment, you would, if you compare the hospital environment and the home environment, hospital is full of strangers. Firstly, abantu ongabazi, they're coming in, they're going out, and they're slamming doors, they're checking you, they're asking you to do things, and then you would notice ukuthi, yes, there is a difference between umntwana ozalwe abruptly, that's born urgently njengokushesha, and then umntwana ozalwe in a smooth transition ekhaya. So what some families would do, umntwana that's born in a hospital, fussy, kalayo, and they're tired. Yes, babies do get tired actually. They're tired, they're crying, they're fussy, and then the baby has colic. In most cases, colic, it's how they were born and in indlela or ways in which they need to be healed now. So in other African countries, you would see with mntwana bayamlula, they stretch, they would bath, they would massage, But the first few days, if he to get rid of low energy lay and to help them with would say, okay, we're okay now, we're safe now. And the lighting, yes, you did mention the lighting as well. Lighting in hospital is too bright, too loud, and the machines are too loud. Nakhona, then ekhaya, where umama, so that's the most important person who's carrying this or who's doing this with umtwana is the mother. So the mother's well-being emotionally, spiritually is important, and they're mostly happy and well ekhaya with the people that they know, with the people that they're familiar with. I can do this, I can stretch, I can turn, I can do whatever I feel like doing, be in a position that I feel like being in ekhaya, and they're not going to judge, they're not going to shout. So then the environment now, that's even the smell is different. Umntwana they uzozala and they notice it's okay. This is a homely smell, a home environment compared to the hospital.
Yeah, bon.
You know, Mkhulu, I wish I would have given birth at home, hey? I can tell you now, it's testimonial,
I
you
have
know.
to add to what you're saying, Marcos. The reason why I asked the question is also in solidarity with you, not just you only, but there's a whole, sometimes the situation, kuna situations which compel us to go to the hospital, the hospital route. Even Nami with our triplets, it would have been wonderful to have them at home. There were even people offering doula services for free, but there were such complications. The boys came at 7.5 months. You see, if they came at 8 months, there was a great, how can I say, there was a great, both from the traditional and from the medical, so-called medical way, there was a danger of losing one. So I had to make a choice between having 7.5 months in a hospital or having them at, by the way, it was not induced. There was no induced, there was no injection of some sort. But the point I'm making, through different checkups that we had done, we were either going to lose one or have them all ready with 8 months in a couple of weeks and enjoy us.
Are you guys able to hear Mkhulu Menzi, or I'm the one who has a network problem? Okay. Gogo, we've got a question here from. We've got a
No,
question.
sorry, I went out there. That's all I wanted to say about. Sometimes I'm situations are funny, and they are not everything is the same. Not everything is idyllic. I know Mochi was talking about being an old soul, and it's good and it's lovely to preserve those traditional ways. But some conditions are kind of pressing, and they are not everything is exactly homogeneous and the same. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
We've got a question here from Malihafa. She says, Thokozani Baholo, Gogo, in African cultures, does induced labor exist? If yes, is there a herb or any ritual done for a mother not to be in pain? Togos.
Okay, so I think now it would depend what is the reason for induction. Why is the labor being induced? So maybe are you past, like I explained earlier, the best person that you would go to, or the person that you've been seeing throughout your pregnancy, the person that you consult throughout your pregnancy, would advise you would see this is the herb or this is what you can take to induce, because you are past 45 weeks, for example. And so your moon phase has passed as well, because your baby is usually born the same moon where your last menstrual period. So then they would suggest the herbs that are best suitable for you. And then with the pain, and they still do. But what happens now is you have to trust the person that you're getting Ikhambihealing from or these herbs, abizwa ngeHlambezo, because it's a mixture of different herbs that you're getting from, because sometimes they don't get measurements correct. And then it acts as the medication, the pitocin, or the medication that you get for induction. It works against your body or your baby due to a scale or the measurements. So we do advise Ikhambihealing, but from a trusted person or from a person owaziyo ukuthi they always get advice, so they are recommended, or uyena muntu esebenzisana naye throughout this pregnancy.
Is she talking about the labor pains? Is it possible to really have not to have the pains?
No, it's not possible not to have the pains. Remember that your body is opening. So when your body is opening,
and the bones are moving.
Uncomfortable. When your body is opening up, making way for the baby, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, the pains are going to be there, but by Ikhambihealing lessens the pain. I've never tried it personally. With my 3, I've never had a chance to do so. But abanye, they say no, Ikhambihealing lose, especially if you start drinking it at 8 months. So now, we need people to research and help us with that sort of information. We would see, are these meds safe for pain? Are they working for pain now? But you cannot run away from pain in labor. You just have to acknowledge it and accept it and work with it. Don't work against it.
I've personally never used Ikhambihealing, not because I know the herbs. You know what? I've been given Ikhambihealing like Tata Nas Ikhambihealing. I saw the herbs. They do work in terms of helping with the helping induce contractions. Remember, there's different herbs that do different things. Some herbs will induce contractions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your body is going to react in terms of you going into labor. That's something totally different. You will have contractions, and then futhi, guys, there's something called the Braxton Hicks. Ne? These are like these are contractions, but you're not in labor. But these are contractions. Hey, this is ne? And you will be walking and minding your own business, and then your stomach just contracts, and then you'll have to wait there up until the contraction passes. These are some of the things that they don't tell you about pregnancy, So, so if you're gonna, like, for me, I actually found out things like abolicelom koti, they do induce contractions, but they don't really make labor. Some women maybe izoyenza ile, but mina, I've got stubborn things going on here. So mina, I don't take besides the fact that there's very few people that I actually trust to mix my herbs. I don't take Ikhambihealing for.
Can I just add on the Ikhambihealing part? Ikhambihealing part. For us, Ikhambihealing was recommended for after. Can you go touch on that? Can you, Nonkululeko, please touch on that a bit? Because Ikhambihealing was recommended by a healer that I trust at Ekwini for after birth as some kind of iswasho.
Kwangasiyo khona lena enikezwayo after. Yes, I remember, I know that, but igama kuthiwa yini inikezwa when, especially if you've had a C-section.
Oh, umathunga.
Yeah, there's another word also for it. Kodwa inikezwa after, even when ulimele, not necessarily like.
I know the only word I know it by is umathunga, but it also stimulates milk production as well. I know the herb that they use. It also stimulates milk production as well.
It helps.
Excuse me, it was not for the mother. The recommendation was that for amawele to give them like strength and to almost like a spiritual security, some kind of protection against. Amawele are sensitive, they have a lot of sensitive. I'm a pasha, so to speak, it's because they are tree. So So to protect them on for me more, yeah, and so it was a slambezo, which is kind of like a wash for the children, not for the mother.
Oh,
But
my mother refused.
yes, umhlabelo.
Yes.
That mother refused.
No, but you were not given umhlabelo. So if we structure that's specifically designed for you, umuntu uyakanakele nje, maybe out of their hearts or into asuke eyibona at that time, kuwukuthi nje uyanakela. It's not designed, or it's not the same for each and every person. Njengoba usho ukuthi amaphahla, and for abanye abantwana mhlawumbe they would recommend something else for umntwana oyintombazane, yabo into kanjalo.
Okay. Gogo, there's we've got, wait, someone okay, we've got Ikhambi has requested your details. I think we'll share them at the end, just when we close the session. We'll share the Gogo's contact details at the end. And then Usazika Mzibeni. Yeah. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Please forgive me if I did. Gogo, I would like to ask what type of food is ideal for during and post-pregnancy, especially what food should be avoided during this journey, Magwand?
Okay, so the type of food would be naturally seeds. So like food with seeds, seeded food. Jengoguti, for iron, you need to boost your iron. So foods that are rich in iron gakulu when you are pregnant, because you're making extra blood, you're creating blood for yourself, and you're creating blood for the extra person that you're carrying. So that'll be foods that are rich in iron. And then post-pregnancy, that will be food that are good at creating milk flow. So that would be your oats, your well, depending on it, diets your umuntu futhi nakhona, but ukudla that's gonna help you build up your milk flow. And then healing, obviously veggies for and also you will still need that extra iron, because also after you lose some blood, sometimes you don't lose a lot of blood. Sometimes you do, which is hemorrhage. Now, you can cover that some other day. So depending on low mamas or big being, so are they breastfeeding? Then they can look at increasing their milk flow. Are they healing from C-section? Then they can look at the natural foods that are gonna help with healing their bodies, which is mostly roots. And then are they healing from a natural birth? So I hope
but also we must remember that this is very specific to you, based on also your own underlying ailments that you may probably have, like your own health profile and the type of pregnancy that you have. You might be carrying 2 babies, so you might have to alter certain things, you know. I think it would be very specific, but I think what Gogo's just provided is just in general, you know. But you would need to come in for a consultation and get like proper guidance as to what would be the appropriate foods. Gogo, the question, just give me a second, on Facebook. It says, no, we've already answered that one. The types of food. So Menzi wants to know about umhlabelo. I think we would need to have like a proper discussion, conversation about umhlabelo, because umhlabelo has a lot of things that it does, and we would need to do like a proper profiling of that herb. Can we make a note of that, and then we would have to do probably a follow-up session. I am looking at the time, and hence I am I'm like, cool. So, Gogo, we will be having another session with Gogo. Yes, 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 yes. She hasn't confirmed the date yet, but I will confirm. And we said the power of the womb to birth multiple bloodlines. Just give me a second. The power of the womb being able to birth multiple bloodlines. Ukuzalwa komntwana ekhaya. That is a very interesting topic, you know. That is a very, very interesting topic. Just when I get confirmation from Okoko as to when she would be available, I will send out the email invite with the link and for those who want to join on the Zoom. But the video will not go live on Facebook community. You will not see this one live, as it will be short. It may be short outside of the Sunday times. So if you want to join in on the Zoom, you can come and join in, and the video we will notify you guys when the video will be published once that is. So private discussion in J for birthing multiple bloodlines and kuzalwa komntwana ekhaya. Gogo, your contact details.
Okay, so I am available Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Nonkululeko Shiburi. They can call me or WhatsApp on 067 074 0021.
And then what's your handles on Nonkululeko Shiburi on all that's the handle that they need to search for?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. With that being said, Menzi, your parting words before we ask for Gogo's parting words.
No parting words, but I had a request.
What is the request?
There's a guest here by the name of Slim Cat. Does she have anything to say in closing? Pastet gave a nickname last week, the other week. Pastet, do I have something to say as a mother?
Molweni bethuna, molweni nonke ekhaya. This was such an interesting topic. I would like to expand on something that Ugogo said in terms of sidinga ababelethisi and what we call isiXhosa impelesi. And we've seen how this cripples us as abantwana. We are single mothers now because sizala sisodwa, and we have all these emotions, the postnatal depression, all those things. And we don't know how to deal with these emotions, and we drive our way partners zethu because we become unstable emotionally, and nabo abekho capable of handling ezo emotions. I think lento iyenzile icrack kakhulu kuthi bantu abanyama. And I know a lot of cases where abantu have different fathers because of this depression, asiyazi how to handle it. And when we ask advice from our parents, the only thing they say, they respond from a trauma place where they say, "Ay miyeka usazobuya," you know, and nobuya buya. But if these emotions are not handled properly, it will always be the same case. You know, so that is where I saw a gap kakhulu when Ugogo was trying to explain it. I know that one firsthand, and it's quite ininzi kakhulu apha kuthi as young women. So it was interesting to hear ukuthi kanti nyani, because I could realize ukuthi it is true, iyenzeka lanto, but sometimes we just don't know how it happens, and we say sisichitho or lufuzo or whatever it is. So I was very happy to hear Ugogo mentioning that. It was an eye opener. It was sort of a reminder of something that I've experienced it, but I was never able to put it into words. So what is causing this? Ngiyabulela kakhulu Ugogo for that.
With that, I do have some last words then. My last words are a recommendation to say that let us have another session with the Nonkululeko Shiburi. But I would like us to add a subject, maybe a 15-20 minute discussion on the issue of the traumas that my sister has just spoken about right now. Not just the trauma, but I think I mentioned earlier when I was kind of responding to Moji to say, our situations are funny. The things that you would like to ideally have at birth, they may not be there. The conditions, especially because a lot of us from the spaces that we are born in, the urban conditions and socio-economic conditions, a whole lot of things are just not there ideally, but we do want to restore natural ways. So I would like us to have just maybe the session, in that section, maybe next week or the next week, to speak about those, how do we deal with those kind of post-traumatic issues. No, let me put it this way. What I wanted to say is, can we add the roles of the partners, the roles of the father to our discussion? Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Just the role, it does not always have to be traumatic, but just the roles played by fathers in this discussion. Thank you.
I think on the session that we will have, Nogogo, we will try and let's see how if we manage our time quite well, we will be able to squeeze that that topic in the session. And get to go, or am I deceiving myself? So if we manage our time very well on the session that we will be having, Nokok, and so on part 2 of the session, we will be able to squeeze in that we just need to be very mindful of time and let us not stray from the topic. You know, the one thing that childs our time is when we stray from the topic. Mkulu, I believe you said you wanted to read something before we end the session. And please do also remind the people to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And also, thank you so much. For me, on my part, I want to thank Ulonzana, Ugogo, Nonkululeko, Shiburi. Like, thank you so much. You know, thank you for holding space with us. Thank you for sharing the knowledge. Like, people who actually do this type of work from and also including our bafake nesinto ngaphakathi, you know, bazokuvulela incwadi laba abazayo, you know, and it's not so much so ukuthi there's something wrong ngokuvula incwadi, but it's not something that is almost a calling for them, because there's something different when somebody does something simply because they're doing it as a profession. But when somebody does something because it's a calling, you get that extra bit of care, I don't know, of touch and a bit of more passion. So for me, I would like to see, if you're a midwife, in terms of the African way, you know, or please do reach out. We would like to see those people, if they still exist and they're still out there. Let yourself known and we'll publish you. Like, we want to know all these. Let's create a database so that when we get pregnant, we don't have to start cracking our heads. Oh my gosh, where do I find? Wait, I'm going to mispronounce this word again. Sidila. Where do I find something? Sidila. Hey, and yeah, so let's reach out and let's connect with each other and let's promote natural healing.
Nami bengizocela ukuthi if bekhona, please can they reach out, because we really need to see more Black faces.
Yes. Mkulu, over to you. Mina, I'm switching off my camera and allowing you space.
You know, the network must grow. The network must grow. I'm glad that Nonkululeko is asking for people to reach back to her also, not just for the services, but for more for the growth of knowledge. We are here. This platform is here so that knowledge can increase, knowledge of ourselves, our true self, and the way of doing things in a healthy, natural way. What I wanted to read is just very short. It has to do with the fact that the principle of the season, Uma Art, she's also related with astrology. ngingathini umkhathi nomhlaba nomthetho neqiniso into efana nalezo yabo. So I wanted to just read a little bit about that ukuthi you know, when people only later people start to talk about birth chart. Maybe the question I wanted to raise, not the question, but the comment I wanted to raise is whether things to do with understanding of your position on earth in relation to the stars. We should start raising those questions and start raising our children with a knowledge of that. You know, I try to give my children a very intimate understanding of why is the sun there, the stars there, and why are certain position, why is this, you know, why, you know, just cosmological knowledge so that they can have a deeper understanding of their significance, their, who are they in the universe? You know, before they learn culture, other traditions, things that come with socialization, they must just learn the natural order of things, amanzi, trees, you know, those basic cosmological things. So my art is related to that, and especially with astronomy and astrology. So it's a short passage. The Sendrit, the oracle or the patron of my, the Sendrit is called the oracle, or Isazi, so to speak, in Isizulu. So to a knowledge of sacred periods was essential in most ancient cultures for determining the appearances of the gods and of the stars, commemorating their festivals and responding to both beneficial and not so beneficial forces that follow the rhythms of nature. So the sentit is the oracle, or Isanus, or Isaz. The sentit is charged with this work, along with specializing in any of all the divination sciences that allow foresight for parents, for priests, and for the community to know about upcoming sacred events. That's page 177. I was paraphrasing also as I was reading for understanding. It's from a book called The Sacred Magic of Ancient Egypt by Rosemary Clark. I just wanted to read that. And with that, siyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga.
Tamaku.